What's up, guys? We are back with another, well, Legions review, because this is not just Mythic and it's not just Cosmic. We are taking a look at the LegionsCon 2023 exclusive Mythic Legions and Cosmic Legions WAL-TORR the Mad. So for the uninformed, if that's even possible right now, this is the tribute exclusive for this year for Walter Hagen. So he's the big chief over at the Mythic Legions Cabal, and is a driving force in all things Legions, and somebody that I am very happy to be able to call a friend. And I'm really excited to take a look at this. We've got some new stuff here. We've got a very interesting colored figure here with an orange tusk body, which is obviously right up my alley. And then we've got some crazy accessories to talk about with this one. So we've got, again, this is a 2-pack LegionsCon exclusive, so you get that oversized 2-pack style box that we see for exclusives. Figures in the window, you've got the Legions logos, both of them down there on the bottom. We've got the Cabal logo on one spine, and then the other spine gives us the Cabal logo, but in the Cosmic variant with another shot of Walter, and then the back is going to give you a little bit of a write-up, as well as some of that fantastic Nate Barch artwork for these specific figures. So yeah, let's do it. Let's pull them out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our LegionsCon 2023 exclusive 2-pack WAL-TORR the Mad tribute figures. So again, this is a tribute to Walter Hagen, Chief Brand Ambassador. You see his name on the boxes. He is the head honcho over at the Mythic Legions Cabal. He is a good friend of mine, and I have been really excited to take a look at these. I love skeletons. I've made that really clear. There's some new parts on this guy in particular, and I have just, frankly, wanted an orange Legions figure for years. So Walter likes orange. That's why he's got a Cosmic orange figure. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Of course, this is one of those rare instances where my background does not do me a service, but I don't think it looks too bad. Somebody's surely going to let me know that they hate orange on orange, but we're going to roll with it because I can't not review this set. So let's see what these guys can do. See how they move around. We'll get into specifics on each one. I'm going to run through our Mythic figure first, and then we'll switch over to Cosmic. So for our Mythic WAL-TORR figure, this guy is overwhelmingly old skeleton parts, and I'm talking original skeleton. We've got those old arms and legs. There are a few new pieces, but nothing on any of these figures really changes the game in terms of articulation. So we've got a head that can look up a little bit. He can look down a little bit. You got your tilt, you got your rotation. I've already got the pauldrons on him because he's got the cape, so they do, factor into the cape. You can get your arms out about that far. They will swivel, of course. You've got your single jointed swiveling elbow, gauntlet swivel, wrist swivel. These are vertical hinges on these hands. 1.0 figure, of course. I think this is like Bardrick's torso, so he goes backwards a little bit, forward. You got your shimmy side to side, you got your rotation. Legs are going to go out all the way because of how the skeleton hips and legs are structured. They kick forward all the way, they kick backwards. No thigh cut on these though, because it's just the bones, so there's no thigh on this guy. You do have your single jointed, slightly better than 90-degree swiveling knee though, so that does help there. We've got our ever-present ankle swivel, you got a little bit of rocker, and then you still got all the hinge down there. So normal stuff, nothing too crazy when it comes to articulation on this guy. If you've messed with a skeleton, pretty much ever, a 1.0 skeleton, you know exactly what to expect here, but you can still get them into some really solid poses without too much fuss. Now, when it comes to the overall look and feel on this guy, this particular figure really has like a very cobbled together vibe for me. And there are some definite call-outs to Walter himself in this figure. One, I'm not so sure if it's a specific call-out, the fact that this figure is, don't take this the wrong way, kind of dirty. Walter's a gardener and a landscaper by trade. That's what his day job is. So this figure is kind of dirty, and I kind of feel like maybe that's a nod to Walter, kind of getting his hands dirty and getting down in the dirt, as he's doing his actual job. But there's some other things that are clear call-outs here. The fact that both of these figures are skeletons is an instant call-out. Walter is a big skeleton fan, just like I am, so I'm really happy that it's a skeleton 2-pack. But also the color choice here, specifically on the forearms and the lower legs, has that sort of Malleus green color, and Walter has like the most ridiculous collection of Malleus figures, and that's the Malleus color, or it's close anyway. So I'm certain that that's a thing here, which is pretty cool. There are a very interesting mix of parts here, though. Again, like I said, He's got the older style skeleton arms, which I don't know that we've actually seen those in a while. The ones where they have like the bolted on armor, which I've always loved because there's no other way that those could be connected. They have to be riveted into those bones, and it's just funny to me. But we've got some of the like leather goods that we saw in the Alithia wave with this kind of stuff. The loincloth piece actually threw me for a loop because I was not sure where this came from, and it's from the Centaur, from Apharius. That guy sits right next to my desk, and I didn't even remember what that piece was, but it looks so different in this very muted and very dirty color scheme. So he's got a lot of parts from a lot of different places. So all of this stuff is either super old or relatively recent. A lot of it is from the Alithia wave of figures, but I like it. It definitely works. The color scheme is interesting and it's different, and that green absolutely kind of throws you for a loop a little bit compared to all of these, silvery and muted brown colors. One thing I absolutely love about this figure, though, and is another instance of there being something slightly new with this guy, is this cape. And at first I thought it was just like Cassia's cape, because she has just a big piece of fur that's really just held on by her pauldrons. They aren't even pegged into anything. This figure, however, he has a full-on sleeve, and I guess I just didn't notice. So the arm actually slips through this sleeve here, and then the cape will peg through the pauldrons. Now, only one of them actually has a place. There's a peg on this side right here, or a hole for this pauldron. I actually popped a hole through this side. I think it helps keep it on a little bit better. But you've got this big fur piece that is dirtied up down on the bottom, so more of that like gunk and grime. And the fur I really like. I've been a fan of this kind of cape for a while. Cassia's in particular, I really liked. The only real downside is that there is nothing on the inside. And they did actually say during the reveals at G-Con this year that they are going to kind of change that up going forward, where we'll start to see lined fur pieces. So this is kind of an older style piece, but it still looks really good. And the inside isn't so much of a big deal for me. It's really just about kind of this mix of parts, how very dusty and dirty it all is, and just a lot of different kind of pieces here that, frankly, if you just wanted to take this guy apart, you'd have a lot of interesting fodder. Maybe the coolest aspect of this guy, though, is the head sculpt. So we do have a skull, which, it's a skeleton. That's Walter's thing. And I believe this is maybe the new bone color going forward that we were sort of made aware of with the Necronominus wave leading into All-Star 6. And this helmet is from All-Star 6. So this is another instance of them trying to sneak a piece out early as tooling becomes available. So this is the Thrasis helmet. And it looks terrific. Like, this is great. Tons of paint, lots of detail up there, lots of pitting, texture, some battle damage, some scarring on it. But you've got gold, you've got gunmetal, you've got silver. Really, though, seeing this bone color in person, I'm really happy with it. It is definitely different from, quote-unquote, the norm and what we've seen over time. But it is going to be a very consistent color going forward, so seemingly this guy will fit in line with All-Star 6, with Necronominus, and in general, just looks pretty rad. I'm very happy with the way this, alarmingly dirty guy is going to look on my shelf. Now, as far as our Cosmic figure, this is not necessarily the same kind of thing as the Mythic figure. That Mythic figure is very much a lot of different parts with a couple new things. This guy is just a tusk body, and I'm not saying that in a negative sense. I really like the tusk bodies, but it's just a tusk body in a very good color scheme, and I say good objectively and subjectively, with some really nice paint accents, and he's got a skull on him. So let's see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. Maybe you haven't messed with Cosmic Wave 1. If you have, you know what to expect. We got a head, a skull that can look up. He can look down a little bit. You've got some tilt, you got rotation. This particular skull has a movable jaw. This is the Malleus skull. Arms out at the shoulders. They rotate. You've got your single jointed swiveling elbow, about 90 degrees, gauntlet swivel, wrist swivel, and hinge, of course. Probably the best area on this body, on this figure, is the torso, the waist area. And this is very similar to how the Valiant Knight that we got at LegionsCon functions, because there is sort of a cinched-in nature to this torso. So he tapers in at the waist, and since he has this doodad on his chest, nothing gets in the way. So he has really, really, really good crunch forward. Like, that's really nice. Good tilt side to side and rotation. The other one, which one is it? The one that came on the Science Officer, I think, is the one that really locks it down, I want to say. And then, of course, you've got your swivel, all that good stuff. So good range there. Really like that. Legs go all the way out. They kick forward. If you want to kick them all the way forward, you have to sort of cock them out to the side because of these pouches. They go backwards a little bit. You got your twist. Single jointed swiveling knee, basically 90 degrees though. And then you've got the rotation at the top of the ankle. You've got rocker. And we've still got really, really nice hinges down there as well. So if you've messed with a Tusk body, well, a 1.0 Tusk body that is not the Engineer, you know what to expect. But if not, this is a really solid cosmic figure that has nice range, solidly built, good balance, and it's just really easy to pose, especially in this particular configuration. Now, as far as the overall look and feel, the visuals on this guy, I could really just sort of start and stop and say orange and be done, because that's really all I care about on this figure. I've said a number of times I would love to have an orange Legions figure, specifically an orange skeleton in this vein of Keltis or Clavian, that kind of stuff where the bones are orange. But if this is all we ever get, I think I'll be pretty content, because not only is this a solid cosmic body, I really like the tusks to a point that I have too many of them already. It has a skull on the top, and one of the best skulls I think we've gotten, at least from the older skull sets of figures. And then it has excellent paint accents on it, but it's also like my kind of orange. It's really, really close to my orange, so I'm very happy with this color combination. What's really interesting is the color choices that they made for the accents, and I'm specifically talking about the red, because red and orange typically are kind of clashing. Orange and blue are the colors that really match and complement each other, but this works. It's kind of jarring in a way, but not necessarily in a bad way. He is absolutely covered in a wash, so he is very gritty and grimy, just like the Mythic figure, but it is a little bit more dirty and like kind of ashen in some way. So there is a lot of scuffing and wear and tear on this figure, even all over the backpack. Tons of that wash and dry brushing to bring out what is a very, very detailed and textured sculpt on this figure. These bodies just have sculpt everywhere, and we've seen people in the community go nuts painting them up because there is so much stuff to pull out. And I think this kind of accomplishes it where, say, the Sentry, the Science Officer, and the Engineer really didn't, because they're Legion builders. So this guy is a little bit more, a little bit extra, and gets all those extra paint hits. Even things like the rivets, that silver detail stands out, it pops. There's orange on the belt that is really bright and vibrant in comparison to the black and the gray. So this is, 100% a reuse kind of figure, but he gets those extra paint hits that really help to bring him out, make him look unique, and not just the fact that he has this very garish, bright, crazy orange color. It's that he has all of this other stuff on top of it, in conjunction with a pretty insanely detailed sculpt. I mean, everything is textured, everything has some sort of pitting or scarring on it, something very techno, obviously, because this is cosmic, but there's all sorts of little bits and bobs and greebling detail all over this guy. And then we, of course, have our head sculpt here, which this is old. This is the Malleus head sculpt. And again, this goes toward the idea of being a tribute to Walter, because that's his favorite figure in the line, and he has 8,500 of them. So this is the one, it's got like the missing tooth, it's got the moving jaw, but the sculpt on this, I mean, even being so old, is still so good. It's got all those cracks and crannies all over the skull, so it's a very, real world kind of humanoid skull, but it looks great with this particular color, with all of the wash in there, pitted detail and texture. It's a really cool mix of parts in comparison to just a regular Tusk body that's going to have one of those robo heads or the alien heads. This is a humanoid skull that is very much different from what we've gotten with all the others. Now, as far as some size comparisons go, let's start with some other Legions figures. We got a 2.0 here on the left, one of the elf knight builders, and then we've got a 1.0 here on the right, my Frankenstein Kit Bash grown-up Commander Thistlethorn. And you can see that these are all very comparable in terms of height. Both of the WAL-TORR figures are basically the same height. The only real difference is that the Mythic is going to have that taller headpiece, so it makes him seem a little bit taller. Let's do some different lines. So here is an AWOC. There's Tiberius from Sparrow Toys. And then let's do a NECA figure. Here is the NECA Warduke. Let's do a Figuarts. So here is Superhero Piccolo. Let's do a Hasbro figure. So we'll do a Marvel Legends. Here's Blue Marvel, for just like a standard Hasbro kind of figure. Let's do a Super 7 Ultimates. We'll do something kind of weird. Here is Megatron. And then let's throw one more in there. Here is a Plunderling. There is Cheddar. So of course, both of these figures are standard 1.0 Legions. So if you're familiar with the line at all, you know exactly where they're going to fit. You know, they're between 6 and 7 inches, closer to 7 for the most part, but they're going to fit in really well with anything NECA, anything Super 7, and of course, across the entirety of your Mythic Cosmic line. Now, as far as accessories goes, this is going to take a minute. There's a lot of stuff in this box, and not just what you see here. This is really just the Mythic side of it. I need a Cosmic Weapons rack. Both figures have tons of stuff, very much in the same vein as what we're seeing going forward with both lines. Figures come with a lot more accessories now, but there's even more than usual in this pack. So we're going to do the Mythic figure first, because that's what you can see now, and then we'll pull out all the Cosmic stuff. So Mythic Walt-TOR has an extra head sculpt to start with. So he's got a scapular head that's painted up in similar colors to the Thoracis head, so golds and silvers and kind of a gunmetal-y color. Also really dingy and gross. We get the Elven Longbow, just done up in gold. So you get that. You know, a lot of this stuff we have, of course, seen before. It's not a whole lot that's actually new, but they've changed up some of it. We do get the bag. This came with Krotos, I believe, in the Alithia wave. We get one of the little, like, sort of, this is kind of loose, surprisingly so. It's usually tight. One of, like, the Jinn kind of knives that we've seen before. This isn't all that common anymore. Black and silver with a little gold accents on it. It's also kind of dingy and gross. We get the Quiver of Arrows. So this is black or sort of a gunmetal-y color with gold accents. And it's got that Malleus green on there to tie it back to Walt-TOR. We also get a single arrow with the green on it. It's kind of a theme with this one. We get the curved blade that also has the green and the gold handle. And then we get, this is from the Monkey King. We get this little gourd, which is supposed to, you know, sort of be like wine or beer. If knowing Walt-TOR, it's filled with Coors Light. I believe he actually has like a real life version of this one, and it's got the Cabal logo on there. So that's really cool. Another nod to him and the community. We get the banner, which, you know, we don't see this thing too often. We used to see it a lot, but this has got the Cabal logo on it. Gold and red, and this is like the small version. You've also got the extender. If you want to make this thing super massive, you can do that. So you've got that. And then we've got a con specific piece or exclusive specific piece for the Mythic figure in this, what is arguably one of the coolest accessories they've ever given us, a Cabal t-shirt. So this has the Cabal logo. It says the Cabal on it, and it's Velcro. So you can pop it open and wrap it around a figure, and then you can have somebody in the greatest kind of little Cabal shirt possible. I think this is just the coolest idea. You know, there were tons of people in Cabal shirts at the convention, myself included. So this is another fun nod to the community, and also a really cool accessory. Like, I really like that. So this, again, is part of the exclusive set only. It won't be in the standard version. Now, for Cosmic Walt-TOR, I actually think that I got this backwards, because this is the head that comes on him in the box. The skull is an extra accessory. It doesn't really matter, though. So this is our Tusk head, and this, of course, is the one that came with the Sentry, and it's orange, got some red and black on the inside, and you've got a clear visor on this one, so you can mix and match those parts, of course, because that's swappable, that's removable, and then we get a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, a lot of it is very much the normal loadout for a Tusk figure, but you kind of get everything. So you do get one of the backpack carapace pieces with the clear dome. Doesn't work all that well with this head sculpt, but works really well with the skulls. This one is gray with some silver accents or some pewter accents. So you get this one in a new colorway, basically. We get one of the tubes. And this is something that's, you know, started recently with Grave Knight with the second wave, so you can pop this into the ports on the arms or on the belt, things like that, if you want to give your guys some tubes. I really like these. It just adds a little bit of depth and dimension. We get one of the little hologram doodads, which I frankly still can't get enough of. I love these. They're different, they're fun, and they're another way to display a figure. So this one's sort of a light blue, and it's got the Cosmerium rings on there. We get the little wrist-mounted blaster, so all of the guns that he gets are in red. So they match the accents on the suit. So you get the little guy. You get the actual, just the single blaster. And these do have paint on them. So they've got little slightly metallic red accents on some of the quote-unquote dots. And then you get the big blaster rifle as well to sort of load out Walter with weaponry. And then we also get the shield, which is maybe one of my favorite accessories here. So you've got this sort of like multi-layered piece. You've got a handle on the back. It's red, it's black, it's got the Cosmic Cabal logo variant on it. It's got orange accents, silver, black, gray. It just looks very clean, very crisp. I absolutely love this. I think I prefer this to the shield that came with Sligor, honestly. I really like the way that looks. And then we get a con exclusive piece for this one with this bad boy. So we've seen this a couple times already. This is one of the Lost Cronin skulls. So we've got gold and silver ones that have come in Cosmic Wave 1. We get an actual bone, skull, skeletal kind of head sculpt. So this is an exclusive piece to this set. Just to round out the tremendous array of accessories that comes with this. Again, I can't stress enough how many pieces are in this. It's going to take time just to even get it all out of the box. You've got tons of stuff. But on top of that, you also get an extra little baggie of hands. So that's the stuff that's in the box. At the convention, they were also handing out hands packs for the Cosmic Walter, and there are, I believe, six total sets of hands, or something like that. So you get like a set of slightly grasping hands. We get a set of style posy hands, you know, gesturing, something like that. You get a set of fists. You get 2 sets of trigger finger hands. You get a lateral hinge and a vertical hinge. So that's 4. And then you get a set of standard gripping hands. So there is quite literally an entire hands pack in this. These are like the hands that came in the Cosmic Wave 1 hands pack, just painted orange with the wash, and they've got those silver adornments on there too, just a little hit of color. There's a lot of stuff here, a lot of parts, a lot of pieces, a lot of options, and I know that's always part of the game when it comes to Legions, but this set absolutely exemplifies just how much stuff you can change with a figure. Different pieces, different parts, different looks, different heads, and 1,000,001 different accessories. There's got to be something for everybody in this set. And at the very least, I mean, if you got this set, you're going to be happy that you got this just entirely too rad t-shirt. So yeah, overall, I'm really happy with this one. You know, I got a couple of these. I couldn't not have more than one of this set. And not only is it a fitting tribute to an important member of the Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions community, they're just solid figures. The Mythic version has a really interesting mix of parts with a nice, gritty, nasty color scheme. You got a little taste of something new on that one. The Cosmic figure makes a Cosmic skeleton. It's orange, and I don't need to stress how important that is for me. But in general, there's just so much about these figures. Not only do they look great and they move well, but they come with 8 billion different accessories to the point where there is quite literally almost too much here. It is overwhelming the amount of accessories that are in this package, not even taking into consideration the exclusive pieces, specifically that t-shirt. That's the coolest thing. But there is so many options with this set that there's really no reason not to get it just by parts value alone. So that's going to do it for this look at the 4 Horsemen Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions, LegionsCon 2023 exclusive WAL-TORR The Mad 2-pack. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.